Also speaking during the to chair another state electoral body and to know and resources to effectively Benue State, the chief of the fence. Come back and now the rest of the news. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has arraigned Precious Williams, director of Glossolalia Nigeria Limited and Pelagent Nigeria Limited, for allegedly defrauding over 3,000 investors to the tune of 13.8 billion naira. Williams appeared before SI Mark, judge of a federal high court in Port Harcourt, on 14 counts bordering on conspiracy, obtaining money under false pretense, and money laundering. She was arrested following multiple petitions from victims and reportedly received 10 billion naira through her company's bank account between August 2019 and February 2020. According to EFCC, she received the money from Maxwell Chizi Odum, who is still at large, and his company, MBA Trading and Capital Investment Limited, knowing the funds were proceeds of fraud. In other news, some logistic riders on Monday staged a protest at the waterline axis of Port Harcourt over persistent extortion allegedly by the Vehicle Inspection Officers, VIO. Speaking in an interview, the deputy chairman of the Port Harcourt Logistics Owners Association, Mr. Victor Umelo, explained what they charged them exceedingly without certifying their bikes.
Since VIO started the operations in River State, we've been having serious of harassment and extortion. Some of the other ones that we've been having, local government stickers and stuff, but this one has taken a new turn. They've come to tell us we are going to pay for roadworthiness. And the painful part of it is that they are charging us the same amount of money they are charging for trucks and buses, 7,000 naira. Once you pay for roadworthiness, you're supposed to go for them to check your car before they certify that it is roadworthy and issue the certificate. They don't do that for us because there is no machine to certify a bike. So they collect the money from us without certifying the bike. Now, they not go around, still hold the same bike.
Umelo called on the chief VIO to investigate the payments being collected and clarify whether they are legal and authorized.
We want the VIO, chief VIO commissioner, to let us know if these things are illegal, if it is being mandated to charge these fees, the certificates, you understand, and why is he not issuing us an account to pay to the government if really these fines are legal.
Moving on, there is growing concern over the recently commissioned Ekit-bound carriageway of the Eleme axis of the East-West Road. As you may know, President Bola Tinubu, through a statement on May 31st, 2025 by his Special Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, announced the commissioning of several road projects across the country, including the dualization of East-West Road Section 2, Subsection 1 from Eleme Junction in Port Harcourt to Ahoda, River State. But observations reveal that work is still ongoing in some parts of the commissioned road. Correspondent Sir Ware, who drove along the newly commissioned stretch from Eleme Junction to the One axis on Tuesday, reports that in the Aleto Bridge area, workers are still on site laying asphalt over a bad portion of the commissioned road. It followed a directive from the Minister of Works, David Umahi, last Friday, who, while tackling his critics, told the contractor to patch up the road in the next 7 days.
What we did was to phase this project. Phase 1 is one full carriageway, and phase 2 is the second carriageway and the bridges and the flyover. And so we are done with phase 1, and that's what we commissioned, and that's one full carriageway. You may see some little disjointed portion. That is where the flyover ramps are supposed to come. But I've directed them, while we wait for the superstructure of the flyovers and the bridges, they should go and put asphalt there, and I give them 7 days, so that from Eleme Junction down to Ne, you will not have any pothole, you will not have any disjointed portion, and so they are going to do that.
I recall that the president of Kagote, Emmanuel Dea, earlier criticized the Minister of Works for what he said was misleading of President Tinubu to commission the Eleme section of the project, which is still under construction. But even with the ongoing patchwork as directed by the Works Minister, complaints are mounting. Commuters say sections between the refinery junction and Onne remain visibly incomplete despite being part of the commissioned route. Also, construction of drainage is still ongoing on the recently commissioned Eket-bound lane. An Eleme indigene shared his frustration in an interview with our correspondent, complaining that some parts of the road are supposed to be concreted, but they are rushing to pour asphalt after they raised an alarm.
I was say from they call Arizona, Agbajo Junction, reach NNPC estate, they not cast up, then just poke rota for grant. From Echo back, they go GVC, they not cast up too, then just poke rota for grant. If you go there, they are doing, yesterday I passed, they are doing it, then just they poke rota for ordinary grant without casting it, as they cast that place where you pass now. Understand me? So now what we do, that's why we do, they complain for the road. They not cast up, then just carry rota on top. You know why you go, that will be for front, from there up on, then cast up.
Also, a bus driver operating between Eleme Junction and Onne said the newly commissioned road still has broken sections and it is affecting motorists.
We drivers, some say they challenge, we will not go see challenge. But before this road, you not go feel pass here. But now, from Eleme Junction, you carry a keke, can reach up trailer park. No, now only the refinery junction and the Alto Bridge. But now, say I'm they do them. But that Alto Bridge, before they know they do work there. But now, they don't start them. They do them. They do them pass now. So.
For these two commercial tricycle riders, they are concerned about potholes that just resurfaced on a road that was commissioned only 18 days ago.
They have not finished working on the road because the place is still pots, it's not all that smooth. Like refinery, we have potholes. In this our own trailer park here, we also see all those because the job is still on process.
They are trying anyway. If I say they are not trying, then I must be lying. But what I observe, there are potholes at different stages. After this trailer park, to that front where you have the flyover, there are potholes there. You go to Refinery Junction, there are potholes. You go to just before Aleto Bridge, those places are not yet completed. Now the bad road is affecting our shop, it's affecting our co-op, it's affecting generally our keke on this very new route. They say they commission.
Meanwhile, it's still not clear why President Tinubu virtually commissioned the uncompleted Eket-bound carriageway of the South Controller of Works, Tarilade Ewerama, says President Tinubu only commissioned half of phase 1 of the Eket-bound lane. Mrs. Ewerama said the Aleto Bridge area forms part of this phase 1 and the commissioned sections commuters are calling disjointed are areas marked for a flyover and roundabout, both of which are yet to be constructed, even though the president commissioned the road as a completed work. She admitted that some parts of the road were temporarily completed with asphalt alone, without concrete, to ensure traffic flow, and those will be properly finished before phase 1 concludes. In other news, the Joint Admission and Matriculation Board has recommended tough penalties for 11 computer-based test centers and their registrants involved in fingerprint irregularities during registration for the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. Registrar Chief Executive of JAMB, Professor Ishaq Oloyede, made this known during a session with some critical stakeholders following a meeting with the affected CBT centers and registrants yesterday in Abuja. He said the measures, which still require the approval of the education minister, are intended to protect the integrity of the examination process. Well, away from that, as Men's Mental Health Month is observed this June, some men in Port Harcourt have linked their mental health challenges to the kind of upbringing they received as boys. Speaking in an interview with our correspondent, they expressed concern that societal standards often do not let them speak up, as society assumes they should always be in control of their emotions.
As parents are bringing up their children, there is a kind of orientation they give to their male child. The orientation for the male children is for him to take responsibility, to always assert his authority.
There's no father that can say he has not been overwhelmed in one situation or the other.
Because of the way the society is today. So fathers are not taking care of, they have failed from their responsibilities. They are not taking care of what God has given to them.
When a man expresses himself, it is assumed that he is weak. So that's why you hear words like, buckle up, you are a man, you can handle it. Men suffer mental health issues, but then they tend to want to keep it within themselves so that the society doesn't perceive them to be weak.
The theme for this year's Men's Mental Health Week is Stronger Together, Better Forever, building better health for men and boys lifelong. The President chooses the execution of all approved infrastructure projects nationwide. A statement shared by Vice President Kashim Shettima said the President gave the order at the 2025 Nigeria Public-Private Partnership PPP Summit. The summit was organized by the Infrastructure Concession Regulatory Commission, ICRC, in Abuja. The President said his administration remained determined to deliver infrastructure that is both sustainable and inclusive, cautioning against any delays caused by bureaucratic hurdles. Represented by Shettima, he said the federal government planned to fast-track approvals for viable projects and intensify coordination among ministries, departments, and agencies, MDAs, to ensure rapid implementation. In entertainment, Afrobeat star Iyanya has released a song dedicated to the victims of the recent attacks in Benue State. In his emotional tribute, Iyanya consoled the people of Benue, praying for divine intervention and healing. In sports, champions Liverpool will host Bournemouth on the opening weekend of the 2025-2026 Premier League season, with Manchester United playing Arsenal at Old Trafford. Liverpool, who won the league on Slot's first season in charge, will begin their title defense at Anfield in the curtain raiser on 15 August.
And now, we bring you news from around the world.
U.S. President Donald Trump is considering joining Israel's strikes targeting Iran's underground nuclear site. This is as the two nations exchange fire for a sixth day. The U.S. president earlier called for Iran's unconditional surrender and says he knows where the country's leader is, but won't kill him for now. Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, says he will never compromise with Israel and will show no mercy. Israel says it struck a centrifuge site in Tehran and weapons facilities as part of its overnight barrage. Iran launched its own attacks on Israel, with sirens sounding twice overnight, but the scale of Tehran's attacks has diminished.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
That's a wrap on the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. The Senate panel on Rivers Emergency Rule has questioned the Risia chair nominee over his state of origin. The EFCC has arraigned a Ponzi scheme director over alleged fraud. President Tinubu will visit Benue State today and will meet with stakeholders. On the foreign scene, you heard U.S. President Trump says he is considering joining Israel on Iran strikes as IDF targets nuclear site. The news was edited by Martha Okere. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. I'm Ifechukwu Monyele. Many thanks for listening.